T-minus 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, space nerds, welcome back to the Launch Sequence Podcast. We've got an episode around Star Citizen today. Surprise! This time we're bringing back actually a repeat guest. Still, I think, relatively new Star Citizen player, but pretty inducted at this point. My man Acuze has been in the podcast. He has been running his own gun shops. He's been making some videos, and I thought I'd bring him back in to see how the Star Citizen honeymoon has been treating him, and whether or not the gameplay has gotten to be a little bit boring. How long has it been now since you started?
I'd say about 4 months, 3 to 4. Yeah, pretty close to 4 now.
Okay. Well, welcome back, dude. Thank you for joining me for this show. How you been?
I'm in good. Thank you for having me again. You guys have been really kind to me, so everybody should know that Tomato is a great dude. A
Thanks,
great fruit. Veggie?
Fruit. We like to go as fruit. You can...
Somebody's gonna call
We're
me
not
out on
picky
that.
about it, okay? We just like being acknowledged, you know? It's better than just put on a sandwich or something. The Star Citizen sort of... There is a way of the Star Citizen, so to speak. The constant ebb and flow of patches coming out, people getting hyped, patches getting old, people getting annoyed, CIG making some weird mistake that burns all the goodwill they've grown over the last several months. You've gotten like really the whole experience. So I'm looking forward to talking about how everything has been from the community to the gameplay and all that kind of stuff. But how about for the folks who maybe weren't here for the last episode, just give everybody else a quick introduction on like where you came from and why you find yourself on the show.
So I'm Acuze. I've been making content for a long time. The most recently, before Star Citizen, I was kind of really focused on DayZ for a while. And so I've always played DayZ, and so that's kind of my biggest background, I think. I've always played a lot of games, though, kind of just get off the beaten path a lot. So I play like GTA and just kind of whatever my friends want to play at the time. And I've always just kind of made fun little videos. I don't know. I've always loved to make them. So that's kind of where I come from. And how I got on Star Citizen was I was playing No Man's Sky, and my friend had brought it up. I've heard of Star Citizen before. Friend brought it up, and while I was playing No Man's Sky, I was getting really bored of No Man's Sky because I've been playing for a little while. I was trying to go to bed one night, and I just couldn't go to bed. So I got up, and I just went to Star Citizen, and I just bought it without really looking at anything. And while I was downloading, I kind of looked into it a bit. And yeah, from there on out, it's all on YouTube.
Only had more difficulty sleeping after that.
Yes, we did. A whole lot. Dude, I think my first session I played for like... I don't even want to admit, like 13, 14 hours. Just the first go through session was pretty bad.
Bro.
Couldn't get off.
Ran a couple contracts then, huh?
Yeah, well, no, one. You got like maybe one or two done.
You said you like to jump into the games where you and your friends will get in and play. Have any of your friends followed you from the other games to Star Citizen yet?
No, I tried to get my friend that actually brought it up. We were both in like a really big sci-fi mood at the time. So like when I was playing No Man's Sky, he was getting back into Starfield, and he was trying out a lot of. We both just got in like that phase. So he was like really bringing it up to me, and that's kind of what led to it. But I tried getting him into it. The thing is, he is also the type of friend that or gamer that, when there's a lot of issues, even if it's not as bad as Star Citizen, when there's issues with games, it's detrimental. So I tried getting him into it, and he's gonna come back to it when it's in a better state.
Bounce right off, I imagine.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I think he was a lot more excited than anyone else I know to get into this game. So hopefully down the line that's possible for him.
I think that's the case for a lot of people who are excited about the game and want to not ruin it, like by banging their head against the broken machine. They want to just kind of wait until it actually plays well. Because there's a lot of people that I've talked to who are like, hey, just waiting, and I still kind of watch your YouTube videos to check in on how it's going. 2 years later, they're back. Hey, still still just waiting, watching the videos, and I'm like, I don't think that your friend is in the minority there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that absolutely. I think that's actually a hard concept for a lot of people to understand. Like from our point of view, is that like some of us like there's problems, yeah, but we don't have a problem with being in the testing phase or
Yeah.
experimental version of the game. And I think there's a lot of people that don't understand that, which I think creates a lot of conflict with Star Citizen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean the most, for those who are outside the community looking in, thinking Star Citizen is some kind of cult, would be surprised to believe just how much everyone's at each other's throats about.
Yeah,
It's an alpha. Doesn't matter. I'm playing it now. Fix the ships.
absolutely.
Can't fix them. They don't work. It's just all kinds of stuff. What is your let's get into like the retrospective here. You've been in Star Citizen, I think you said about 4 or 5 months now. Um, how has your opinion of it changed over time?
I don't really think it's changed all that much. I think I came in in my opinion, I think I came in with a pretty level head about it. Like I kind of came in without too many expectations. And I come from a lot like DayZ, for example. Back when I played that, back when I started that, it was in a terrible, terrible state. So I come from like this side of things. Or I do like play testing games a lot ahead of time before this. I've always enjoyed it. So I think I came in with a pretty strong idea of what I was kind of getting myself into, on the idea that it may be broken. From what people are saying, it's not going to be this glorious fun time all the time. And so I think, coming into that, it actually is better, or has been better, other than maybe the last patch. It's been overall better than what I'd even expected it to be. So,
Before you got here, there was no crafting. It
yeah.
it kind of, to a lot of people, it felt, I don't want to say crafting has made the biggest difference to the way progression works, but for a lot of people, progression was just kind of buying spaceships, making enough money to buy spaceships. Do you feel like that's been your idea of where progression is taking you now, or has crafting made any bit of a difference there?
As far as what I'm trying to get to
Like
now,
progression, yeah.
yeah, it's hard. I don't think I have the regular Star Citizen experience, because a lot of when I'm in the game is, right now at least, really focused on what I'm trying to achieve for a video now. So I don't really think I have like um my goal first coming into when I originally started was like, I want to buy a ship. But then when the videos kind of started doing well, like the last one, for example, was like, it had nothing to do with money. Like the economy was jacked up, but I was selling parallax, custom parallaxes, like high
Yeah.
quality for 1 million credits. Like, it wasn't about it. When it comes to this, it's really not about the buying the ships anymore, really. So I think I have a very different Star Citizen experience than most, uh, because I'm trying to achieve goals and that aren't really ship related, and trying to achieve things outside of a ship or more EUC. Uh, so that hasn't really changed for me at all. The crafting, for example, like that was really cool. I think it changed in the fact that it gave me something to go reach for and strive for. But as far as like ships and stuff, it didn't really change that too much for me
Okay.
personally.
Let's talk about the content, because when you joined up into Star Citizen, I don't know what you were expecting, but you've released 3 videos now, and I think you're averaging over 200,000 views between the 3 of those. It's somewhere, it's in that ballpark, and
Yeah.
I think clearly the stories that you're telling have resonated with people. Has that caught you by surprise compared to previous games you've covered?
Yeah. Yeah. It's uh overwhelming in a positive way, obviously, but yeah, it's absolutely caught me by surprise. I didn't expect such a jump so quickly. Like I said, I've been making content for a really, really, really long time, and at least on videos that I try to make for myself, like these, for example, and take a lot of pride in making, I haven't really seen anything like that. And I thought it would be more of like a if anything, gradual jump. So yeah, it's been really crazy to see people really enjoy them and like take them to heart. And like, it's really cool to see people not even just say good video, but people be like, that was really cool when this happened. This was my experience. And people want to share like what happened to them in the game. And I think like that's the most incredible thing for me is like realizing that these aren't just 100,000 like on a number. It's like these are people who have experiences in the game or who have experience in this stuff who like also want to share that. And like each one of them is one individual person. And so it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I had no expectation on it. Zero. So
That's kind of what you said that you used to like DayZ or still like DayZ a lot. And I'd say often that my number one influence for gameplay video is JLK from DayZ. And that's always when I was watching his videos, that was always the vibe that I got, that like he was experiencing something in a world where a whole bunch of people were having other experiences that just happened to meet up, run into each other, connect once, bounce off of each other, go in their own directions. But like ultimately, it's just as interesting as if somebody was writing a book or making a movie. And maybe the story's not all that great, but each person is writing their own book, and it's really cool to see how that can change in a physical world where you can do things you wouldn't normally do in real life.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just cool that people feel like they want to share it, you know, like they want to share that with you, which is really cool in
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah. How do you think these videos have resonated differently than the ones you've made in other games?
Um, that's a great question. I think, to be quite honest, I think my previous videos just weren't really packaged well, um, and I think that they resonate because maybe they. I couldn't tell you why they resonate. I couldn't tell you why they resonate. To be quite honest, as far as why they resonate with people, I think it's just an experience that people find maybe interesting or cool to watch. Um, I try to throw in a lot of stuff that involves kind of the community and things of the game that maybe people don't really get to do or see super often. Like with the last video, I really tried to just show as much of the potential of the game down the path that I was doing. For example, like just reaching out to strangers in global chat because I didn't have anyone to mine with is like I could have gone on Discord and messaged somebody that I've met from Star Citizen, like, do you want to come mine with me? I found this cool rock. But like there's so much more potential to show. And I think a lot of people who either do or don't know the game could like, I think they enjoy seeing the fact that like there's so much more potential in this game than maybe we originally thought. And just like, I think even opening the cave, like going into a cave and being like, hey, come get me. I think people outside of Star Citizen are going to be like, we didn't know you could do this, you know? And I think that's kind of why it resonates. I've seen some comments where people are like, I haven't really heard much Star Citizen, but this is really cool. I didn't know you could do that. And
Yeah.
I think it resonates with a lot of people outside of Star Citizen, like, because it's targeted in a way that's like, you don't have to understand Star Citizen to understand this video.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I attempt to do. And I think that's why it resonates, to be honest. Is like anybody could watch it, understand it, and there's something to follow along with. It's not like I'm just gonna go out and do something and not really tell you how we got here. So maybe that's why.
It's interesting that how true it is that Star Citizen is impressive when it works, but then like it can be such a pain because like you say, a lot of people, yeah, the expectations are low. Sometimes you'll show some people that you can load into the game and they're surprised, but a lot of people just don't realize how much unique gameplay there actually is in Star Citizen. Like the ability to jump between spaceships or fly people around, stuff like that actually leads to some interesting stories.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I also think a lot of people, outside of the game, for example, when I came into the game, I didn't know that this is what the game even looked like visually. I didn't know your character looked the way it did. I didn't know it was the type of game that it is. Like I had no idea. It's like
And
It's
you
just
had heard about it before, right?
I'd heard about it. I've seen like a clip or two, old, like nothing new. But when I heard Star Citizen, I didn't. I It's the same way if you like I've seen Space Engineers, but if you like, I don't know what the game actually looks like, and I don't know if you know of Space Engineers.
Yeah.
Um, but I've heard of that game, and I've always like thought it was a cool concept from what I heard about it, but I couldn't tell you what you actually do, or I couldn't tell you what the gameplay is like at all. And I think a lot of people kind of hear about Star Citizen, but they don't actually know anything, even what it looks like to play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, some people don't even realize you can load into a game. Like people
Yeah,
still
well,
think
there's
that it's
that too.
just a page on a website that's getting money.
Yeah,
Um,
there's that too.
yeah, it's nice when the expectations are just so low. What do you think was like what's missing to get people over that hump of understanding? Obviously, a release game I know is going to be the number one comment, but like, what got you besides not being able to sleep at night to give Star Citizen that time, that chance?
It was kind of like I was just in. I didn't really have anything specific. It was more of like I was really enjoying No Man's Sky, but I needed something a little different. My friend was playing Starfield, so I tried. I was like, I might get back into Starfield. Um, and then he ended up. There was some story space game, and so I think we were just both really like tunnel visioned in this like sci-fi game and moment. And I was just like, I had some time off work at the time, so I was like, I have nothing to do. I don't know how much. I don't want to get up. When you're just in a gaming session, all you can do is think about that game. Like, I can't wait to go back to that game.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of that with No Man's Sky, but it was like to the point where I was like, but I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Like, I feel like I kind of exhausted myself with No Man's Sky. So, I was trying to go to bed, and yeah, I think like it wasn't anything the game did itself. It was more so just kind of where I was and the fact that I wanted to try a new sci-fi game, uh, or space type game. So I don't think it was anything the game did specifically, but I think what the game could do, or it's more of a marketing thing and just marketing rather than just ships all the time and just, being like, here are things that you can actually do in the game and show different things. I think content creators play a huge role in it as well, though. I think just having more accessible content to people outside of Star Citizen, more things that are more explanatory and more broadly interesting to people outside of the game and not just focusing your audience or your videos specifically on this audience, I think will massively expand the growth of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Whether
do
it's
too.
ready to be grown or not, that's subjective. It's up to you what you believe, right? Like,
Yeah. Absolutely. I do agree, though, that this is the kind of game that benefits from people being interested in space. It's the kind of thing that you generally find when you're looking for a space game, but it's not quite hitting that mark. I think like that's how the genre is supposed to work. That's why I was hoping Starfield would like really bring people in. I guess it kind of worked, right? You were thinking Starfield and you went to Star Citizen, so there it is in
it worked.
action. Yeah.
There it is.
But they've definitely you see it so much in the discourse around the game, even from the people who are playing it. They just want it to be fixed. Like they want what is there to be fixed. But also, obviously, the game needs to be built. And I think if you asked anybody, you found their specific feature on the list that they really want, and you told them you're willing to give this up if the game gets fixed, most people would be like, okay, I'd like that one too. So it's hard to argue for the game to be more stable and fixed without these new features being added. Um, how have you been feeling about this balance and the way that they've been treating the development and the way things get added in over these last few months?
Uh, I think it's. I mean, I was very fortunate, like, and had a very like weird experience where all I heard was the patches break everything, and then the first two patches were like, what did we get? The first two patches, they were on my end at least, they were perfect. Like I had very little issues. It was
I think it would have been
the
4.7 and
crafting was the
4.8.
second one and stuff. Yeah, 4.7. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, 4.7 or
4.7 would have been March.
because when I originally got in, they just brought the inventory system. Or like right after I got in, they brought the new inventory system, which was that 4.7,
I think that was 4.7. Yeah.
and then or was 4.7 the crafting? 4.7 was
They
crafting.
both came in at the same time.
Did they?
Did they? Maybe
I think crafting
4.6
came
was
significantly
inventory.
later.
Oh man, am
Yeah, I
I
think I
finally
came.
losing my roadmap memory?
I think I came in for yeah. I think 4.6 was inventory, and then 7 was crafting.
Okay. No, 4.7 was inventory and crafting.
Really? The
Yeah.
rehaul for inventory?
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the roadmap.
That's so interesting because
Yeah, because
I've lost it.
4.6
Yeah.
was January, 4.61 I think was February, and then 4.7 was February. Either way, it
Regardless,
was around that time. How do we even get there?
you were kind of asking me how I feel about the development
Right. Yes.
cycle, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to get into a couple of good patches there. I've heard that the last one is pretty bad. I've tried getting on the last one a couple of times to um, for the next video, and I'm trying to keep continuity for this one, which has been a bit of an issue with the way things are right
Yeah.
now. So it's kind of got me in and out a few times or whatever. And over the last week, I've had a little unmotivation getting in, and I'm trying to find it back to get in. But overall, like the cycle of how they do it, it's just unfortunate. But the cycle of how they develop doesn't really bother me too much because it is an alpha. Uh, mm, we know what we're signing up for, I think. And at the same time, it's just like you can't push out all this content and not break things. You know what I mean? It's going to happen, especially with how complicated it is on the back end. I'm sure it's a mess on the back end to even look at. Like, I would have no idea what the heck I was looking at.
So the 4.8 patch drop didn't really bother you too much.
Um,
The May time.
the most recent ish one, yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is like it definitely bothers me that I try to get in and I can't do what I'm trying to achieve, but I can't complain because can it be frustrating? Yes. Do I have the right to complain? I guess I have the right to, but should I be complaining because I knew what I was getting into or I signed up for something that I knew was going to have issues and I knew was an alpha? Like, it's kind of my responsibility to be like, that's my fault. If I couldn't handle it, why am I here? That's how I feel. I don't know.
I can just imagine how many of you commuting in your
But that
car, chilling at home, wherever you are, listening to this podcast. Some people are nodding
But that's not
emphatically.
fair because I just came in. It's not like I came in 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, I feel
back
you.
it 13 years ago
But
with a
that's the
different
thing.
expectation.
It's the
So it's different for
duality.
me.
Yeah, it's the duality of the Star Citizen follower is like some people will be nodding along to that, very, very in agreement. Other people will be shaking their head so hard they break their neck. They're like, nope,
Yeah.
this is
So
I paid the money. I am here. And you know what? I get both sides of that. I
absolutely.
I've been of the mindset for a really long time that it's an alpha and there's development that needs to happen and we need to push, we need to get features in, and that destabilizes things. That's how it goes.
Yeah. I think that they've definitely pushed an excessive amount of ships recently.
They have.
But like,
Yeah.
I still enjoy playing the game, so
The problem is
you know.
they're marketing it to people not with that in mind, right? I mean, if you actually go to if you clicked on, I think it might have been the free fly. It was one of the play now buttons somewhere. I don't remember, but in a recent promotion they were doing, I wanted to just see what would happen, like how long it takes for somebody to figure out that they're getting brought into an alpha. And I realized that they actually don't tell you Um, if you type in, I think the play.sc URL that they usually use, they don't tell you it's an alpha until you make an account. And
Really?
I do think that, yeah, they're getting really into the realm of not making it clear to people what they're signing up for. And I think that's because like the company itself really wants to believe 1.0 into an existence sometime soon, and think, and kind of see from the things they're doing, thinks that it's headed in that direction. And I do wonder how much that's going to screw them over. You know, you market to people that you got a game to play, and then they get in and they realize it's an alpha. Sure, you can get a refund, but by that point, it does kind of put a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, like if the like first, like say first impressions are everything, and the damage is kind of done. Like you
Yeah.
kind of, they feel kind of like that was pretty immoral, right? Like, um, yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. One thing I found too, trying to get into it, is like even when I searched Star Citizen and went to the website, the first time when I tried to buy it, I was really lost at first. I didn't really know how to buy the game, which seems to
Yeah.
be a common issue because I'll see comments like, "How do I even buy this?" I went to the website. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, yeah, you'll figure it out. And if you can't, you
Good luck.
probably shouldn't buy Star Citizen.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
wait, am I buying the game or am I just buying this big ship? Like what they show
Yeah,
they
man.
show too much to people who are getting into the game.
There's so much there. I was like, there's so many packages, and you don't know what you're supposed to buy or
Yeah.
what it is. And it's like, but at the same time, if you can't you know, figure out that, you're probably not getting off the ground in the game. So
That's
just,
yeah, and
be wary.
that's the difficulty is a lot of times when you talk to people about this, the first response is, well, people should be doing their research. And while I agree, it's also it's a lot. You know, it's a lot to like. You see game packages starting at 45, going up to 135, and you think there's like a little bit extra in you that's like, okay, maybe I should get the $60 one since that's a normal game price, but you don't need it.
Yeah, Lurch says we're supposed to buy the biggest package and, and give it to
And then
him.
right. Make sure that one has a crossbow in it for you. He I don't know if you've heard of this crossbow. They did a promotion with another game who was made by somebody Chris is friends with. They did cross promotions in each other's game, and that's why we got this crossbow that just came in, and it's called Shroud of the Avatar, the old game. And he has been in, I want to say every stream I've done for the last 4 years asking for that crossbow. Poor guy.
I've seen a bit of it. Is it good? Is it any good? It just came in the game.
Oh yeah. It was just added, and it's pretty good. It's not the implementation I would have hoped to see. I think crossbow gives us a lot of interesting FPS possibilities, like non-lethal rounds, tracking bolts, EMP bolts, just like weird stuff. None of that is there though. It's basically just a gun with bolts that shatter on impact. They one-shot people though, so that's nice, and it's pretty quiet.
Is it like are you only allowed to have one bow in at a time though? Like, does it
Oh,
take a bit to
it's
reload?
no, it reloads. He's probably, I think it's like 80 rounds a minute, something like that.
And it's one shot.
Yeah. There are only, I think, 5 shots per magazine, but yeah, I see it on your face. You got
That's
a new target, got a new thing to craft.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
I think it's not one shot if they're wearing heavy armor, but no, thing's pretty goated. It's a good one to go after, and I'm sure it'll be rebalanced at some point in the future.
Do they have specific hitboxes? Like if you aim for the head, does that do more damage?
Yeah. Yeah.
But could you shoot like someone in the leg with that and they'd still die?
I think so. I haven't used one enough to know. Well, somebody might answer in chat here, but I do think that it's a one shot on specific armor. It's one shot no matter where you hit them. Again, I
Interesting.
doubt that's gonna last. It's a strong
Yeah, that's
crossbow.
A little OP.
You just
Yeah,
friggin' get shot in the foot, wipe out your whole life.
that's crazy. It's crazy. At
um,
least you get to keep your armor right now.
yeah, there's that. Let's talk about that. There's Star Citizen has this weird situation where it's, as we've been talking about, in development. So some things work, some things don't. Has that been a point of pause for you that's caused you to kind of not want to play as much, or do you just bounce off of that and keep going?
No, for the most part, I'll like bounce off, but I'm always kind of trying to do something. So it's like, I'll bounce off, I'll come back in and try and get it fixed or like switch servers or whatever I have to do to try and fix it because I'm like, if I was just kind of like roaming around doing nothing and that happened, yeah, I'd probably just get off because I wasn't really trying to do anything anyway. I'd probably just come back later. Um, but overall, like, no, I think it's just a part of playing Star Citizen. To be honest, I think a
Right.
lot of people. I understand if people have issues with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all good and jolly over here. Uh, but yeah, I think I like to get back in, try to work around
All
it.
all good and jolly, everybody. We're fine. No
Definitely
4.8s
not.
here.
Definitely not all good and
I
jolly
think
over on this side.
I think everyone's going to be traumatized by the number 8 just because it seems to pop up in bad patches. Like whenever we get to 4.18 or 5.8 or whatever it ends up being, 6.8, 7.8, alpha 12.7, sorry, getting carried away. Let's talk about gameplay. What gameplay has grown on you over the last few months?
Um, a lot. I actually have done a lot of more PvP stuff, like which is really fun in my opinion. Um, like Hathor, we run into some PvP there. Um, when I did the executive hangars, there's a lot of PvP that we ran into, and I've really just been enjoying that. I think that's fun when it just happens. Like it's not like we have to force it or anything. We just go to places where it just happens to be, and I've enjoyed it. It adds kind of like a sense of fear that you can't control, and you kind of just have to push through it with the people you're with, and you either come out on top or you don't. And it's been enjoyable.
How would you feel if Hathor got instanced?
Like everyone's in their own instance type of thing.
Yeah.
How would that really affect gameplay though?
Well, I mean, you bet you wouldn't run into people anymore.
Oh, like completely solo instance, like not even just like a little pool.
Like it's a closed instance, like how they're doing Siege of Orison.
Oh, I personally would not be a fan. I think what draws me a lot to Star Citizen is not having things like that. Um, I just like the open world, kind of anything can happen, like simulate like in a simulation of a space, obviously a very extreme real life. Um, to a very extreme, but I just like the fact that I could go out and like have real like things can just happen, or I can meet people or run into people. I find that that's kind of what intrigues me a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of involves anything can happen. You're not really always safe. It's one reason I like playing DayZ is I always have to, be semi wary of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I have to make every decision. Every decision has weight to it, right? Like
Yeah.
when your decisions have no weight to it, uh, in my opinion, everyone's welcome to their own opinion. Where's my joy in that?
Yeah. Would you say that you feel more inclined to go that direction because you like PvP? Do you search it out to try and fight people, or are you more just inviting to the danger?
I think I enjoy it in Star Citizen at times. I think there's times where I definitely don't enjoy it. Like when I was mining in my last video and then I got pirated, like did I want to lose the gold that I just collected? Absolutely not. But like that if I didn't have that fear, If I could just like go collect it and just bring it back and not really have to like figure it out, then like it adds this kind of thing where like I don't know if I don't think I added it in the video. I had so much footage, but trying to deliver my material from checkmate um to the hole. So I think we went to Orb. I think that was, or was the closest. I think Orb maybe it was the closest station to Bloom, so that we could go to the cave and bring the guns there. It's just like even getting from, because I got pirated, I realized, oh, I should probably, when I deliver all these guns from checkmate to Bloom, have escorts. That's probably a really good idea. And now I have to make this decision that holds a lot of weight, because if I don't make that decision, anything could happen. I could lose my 2 months of work just like that. It's gone. Right. And I think it would suck if I lost it all, but also like, I think it carries a lot of weight. Like now, okay, I can message the people, hey guys, I need to deliver this stuff. Can you guys follow me or board my ship with me or just come with me, so that there's a lot of protection there? You know, it would suck to lose it, but I think that is personally I think it's good to have. I
So
think there
do I.
could be more punishments as well, though.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I think there could be
Yeah.
definitely be more punishments.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you though. I really like there being danger. I'm not much of a PvP player, but I enjoy the risk and the way it changes the way that you play. Like even when you're used to going in a place where there's always pirates around, it makes it feel better to go back to the safe space where you can just like freely just relax and play however you want, because it emphasizes that that place is safe.
I agree.
Definitely Star Citizen suffers from that though. They suffer with that. I mean, you were making a video, you had a goal, you're getting that stuff done, but they also need to make sure the economy makes sense for people to want to take those escorts in the situation that you did. Um, do you by any chance remember if that was even profitable?
For them to escort me.
Yeah.
Well, they were part of my security team. Like it was part of the people that it's people that an org that I met, and so they didn't charge me for that.
You didn't pay. Ooh.
Uh
Uh-oh.
oh. They
Uh-oh. I think there's some government regulations that are gonna come after you for that one, man. Unpaid labor out
well,
here.
it was pyro, so what are you gonna do?
Hurston's jealous. Like, how'd you do that? How'd you get into work for no pay?
Yeah, we free labor over here. You know, if you guys want to come work for Acuze's Pop Parallax, we're hiring.
We yearn for the mines.
Yeah. It's
We
all free
talked
work
about
over here.
you made a whole video about starting this gun shop, and we've talked quite a bit about crafting throughout this talk. What do you think of the way that Star Citizen is doing their crafting and the blueprint system?
The blueprint system, in I'm not a the way you earn blueprints, when you're playing with a lot of people or an org, it's one thing because you guys all collect the blueprints. If one person does something, so you just all kind of do them all together, right? Someone does one mission, everyone does their own mission, and everyone gets however many blueprints. When you have so many blueprints added, and you're a solo player or you play with just a couple people, it's gonna take you forever to get all these blueprints. It's gonna take you forever, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You just have to do it. And you don't know what you're getting, obviously, and stuff, which I think is good. Like, I think it's okay that you don't know exactly what blueprint. Obviously, there's some blueprints specifically to some contracts, but I think just like catering to, I feel like the system for gathering blueprints only caters to people in big groups. And because how does one person get all these blueprints that they want unless they spend a lot of time doing it? But because like the crafting of it is already going to take a long time, but now you have to take an extra amount of time, like a significant amount of time to try and even get those, if you're solo specifically, or just a small group. So I think that kind of sucks. I feel like I don't know how that would be reworked. I feel like that could have some reworks done. But as far as the crafting, I enjoy it. I think it's good. I think I don't know if they changed much in 4.8 with that. I haven't really gone out in mind a lot since the video. But in 4.7, I know it was hard to find like really good rocks. But when you found a good rock, you'd get like a lot out of it usually because it usually was a pretty big rock. Um, so you'd get a lot out of it. But I think being able to find more high quality rocks, but they give you less would maybe be a little bit of a better option because once you find one big rock, like after potentially days or weeks even, and you can finally craft, your weapon. Again, this is not group play. This is like more if you're just a couple of you or whatever. And you eventually find like the materials you need. Well, now you can craft 10 parallaxes or 15 parallaxes, but you only really need to go out and mine for one or two, and that's good enough.
Yeah, but you're going to lose those. Nice to have a little
Yeah, I think
stockpile.
you're muted.
Am I muted? I was muted. How did that happen? Well, you guys can still hear me on the podcast. I was just going to say, what did I say? What were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying it doesn't feel very catered to it feels super catered to like bigger groups.
Yeah.
And also that when you find ores, like you tend to find, well, at least ship minables, you tend to find bigger chunks every once in a while rather than like smaller chunks a little more frequently.
Yeah. Do you think that I want to go back to the blueprints actually, because you had mentioned about the way that people will join the missions and then everyone takes a different mission, everyone gets blueprints. It's cheesing, right? It's almost an exploit. It's how the system is meant to work, but I don't think that's how CIG wants it to work. Do you feel like everyone needs to have every blueprint? If we could trade in?
No, I don't think if you can trade it.
Well, if we can trade items, if there are people you could just take materials to craft the stuff for you, is it important that everyone gets the blueprints?
I don't think it's important that everyone has like every blueprint, but I think even just getting I tried to get a P6 blueprint. When I was making the parallax video, I was going to do P6s and parallaxes. Was far beyond my reach, but I didn't know at the time. I was really naive, and I was trying to get a P6 blueprint, and I did this one mission over and over and over again, and I had consistent problems with it over and over and over again. Like the game is not in a state right now to be like you need to go out of your way and work this hard to get hopefully the blueprint that you want, because the mission might just work for you and you might get a blueprint that might be your P6 if you're lucky, if it works, if everything runs smoothly. If you're lucky, and it's just like, yeah, it's kind of where we're at right now. And like, it's fine. But at the same time, like maybe like, I think it'd be nice, especially if you do want to open up a business or whatever. Yeah, you're probably going to need to get a lot of blueprints, and it's probably going to take you a really long time unless you have an org as big as GL.
It's interesting to put yourself in their shoes and realize that they do need to make it so that we can play the game how it's meant to be played, even though it does all that kind of breaking, right? They need to make it so that blueprints are relatively easy to get and that you're not losing them, or that they're reliable, whatever. They're just available. But also they're trying to build it for the people who are going to be playing this at 1.0, who probably should be taking weeks to find a blueprint and unlock it and figure it out. And I don't think that they should rely on this RNG that they're doing right now. But it is, I do find myself constantly wondering how difficult it must be to try and hit both of those development paths.
Yeah, you can't like develop for right now, and then when the future comes, be like, now we got to develop for then, because you're just going to break more things and you're going to be right back here.
Yeah.
But I think my thing with blueprints and mining is like it's already gonna. It took me a month to not even find the blueprints. It took me a month to find the materials that I needed to craft parallaxes. Like a bunch of, I granted I crafted a bunch, but I didn't need to find that many rocks because a lot of them are just big. You know what I mean? I did destroy a few rocks. I will say that, but it took me a month of, and not even like playing here, playing there, playing. I would spend hours a day just going up and down Bloom, up and down like Ignis, all these places, trying to find my materials. And I reach out to people and like I couldn't really figure out where else or how else to get it. So I just did it. And I mean, I had a big learning. Like I had to learn how to mine, which was not fun at first. But yeah, I spent a long time consistently just trying to get the materials. And I was fortunate enough where I joined on Galley the one time, and it just happened that they just unlocked the Parallax blueprint
Oh,
when I
nice.
joined in on there. So I was fortunate enough to like get it in that moment, so I didn't have to go out and grind for the blueprint. Uh, but had I had to grind for the blueprint, that could have added an extra, maybe even a week to my time of
Yeah.
like for one blueprint. You know?
I've had better luck than you, but there's definitely a problem with the RNG aspect of it. And I think when it comes to the minerals, the biggest issue we're all feeling now is no player trading system, no social tools, no way to, like, there are people out there who have the minerals you need, and
Yeah.
there's no real way to find them.
Yeah. I agree with that as well. I agree. I feel like a lot of this though will come in due time. Like it will. So for me to say or
Say due time.
kind of it'll come in some time.
In
I
time.
think it'll come in some time. In time. Yeah. It'll all come to fruition. I think there's a bigger goal that maybe we just can't see yet.
Well,
Or
they've laid
maybe
it
we
out.
can't.
They've described how they want it to work. It's just a matter of
Gotcha.
like the features aren't here to make it work the right way. And
Right.
when they talked about crafting, they talked about player trading and shops and all this stuff. And it is definitely part of a later version of it. But I think it has just made it very, very clear, very obvious how much it's missing. That it you not only can you not get the materials for all these blueprints, it shouldn't be expected of anybody to get all these materials. There should be a way to trade for this stuff. There should be a way to buy this stuff from certain vendors in the game. There's just none of that though. So it does feel like an absolute slog when you're trying to just get a bunch of blueprints together.
100%. And I even think on like the development side of things, it would just be, especially in like a phase where you're kind of just trying to test and see what works and what doesn't, like there's a lot of that, we're all kind of just testing the game in a sense. And it's just like, I think it would be more beneficial for them if more people had more access to things because then we could test the features that do and don't work and be like, instead of having to wait so long for us to actually work our butts off to get something and then be like, oh, it doesn't actually work properly. Like, well, what if you could somehow have a little more access to it? And I'm not saying not have to work for it, but what if you could have some slightly easier access to it so you could actually test this for us and tell us what we need to do or what we should do or how it should be laid out properly? Because in my opinion, you're kind of just making the testing and like you're just adding longevity to it. It's just kind of stretching it out longer than it needs to. Uh, but I'm again like they have a plan, and I'm sure in their minds, like my mind isn't their mind, so I'm sure they have a reason on why they do what they do. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
There's definitely a desire to for them to use the PTU in that way. Like I really would love for them to go the same direction as one of my favorites, Satisfactory. They kind of went through the same sort of process where they were in I call it early access, but really they were building a lot of the game underneath the players' feet as they played. And they always kept an experimental branch and a live branch so that the experimental branch was that kind of like, I don't know if they changed the way that progression would work, but in Star Citizen, it'd make a ton of sense. You just make everything in the PTU easy to acquire, but not permanent, so that people can test it out, try it out. They want to jump in because it's the new cool thing. And then you leave live to just be live. But CIG depends so much on FOMO and hype that you can see it in the way that they're acting. The ship sales, the ships are not going to PTU. They're going straight to live because CIG knows the longer time it takes in PTU, the more time people get hands on or the ability to look at it without buying it, which means you're just going to have less people buy it when it becomes available. Same thing with these patches. They're spending less time in PTU and the tech preview because, well, I don't think they get enough people to test them, but also because I think they want those people to jump in when it gets to live and just have all that hype land at the same time. And it's really, I think that's what's blocking them from like doing some real good, proper long-term testing.
I agree. I think that would help a lot. And like the thing is like when it comes to like ships and stuff, you can still make like you don't have to just offer, hey, come test this for free. You know what I mean? Like still be like, well, if you want to use it in the PTU, you have to buy it. Still an option. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Pay to
I agree.
test.
I think that would I think that would help a lot. I honestly think that would help a lot. But again, I don't know what they see. I'm not in their heads, so I don't know. It's really hard to I feel like everyone and not just player side, dev side. I just feel like everyone has so many different ideas and scopes of what they want and how they see this should work. And it's like it's easy for me to be like, well, this would make the most sense. But then somebody would have a completely different idea of how it would make it easier to do something. And it's like you can't please everyone in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a simple conversation about very basic things on Twitter without somebody. Twitter is a terrible example,
Twitter,
but you know
dude.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my
you
God.
can't do anything with please everybody. So I think they probably have some sort of vision on how like on why they do what they do, and like to some extent it helps development.
I'll say this. From what I've seen and experienced, CIG is a very reactive company. So generally, I have found that whatever it is they are doing in Star Citizen's development is based on things that we don't know for sure, that aren't visible to us. But generally, with hindsight, things make sense the way that CIG acts. So we'll probably understand at some point why they're not using the tech preview as much or why they're not developing in this way. But for now, clearly they just want to get things out quickly to people and keep people busy in the game. And it's working for them. This has been the highest year of funding they've ever had by far. They are already up to where they were in November of 2023, which was an insane year. That's their third best year ever. And they are already up to where they were in September of 2025, which was their first best year ever. It's actually insane, but they're doing really, really well in terms of sales. How do you feel being a part of the community, chatting with people, seeing the way that people have been reacting to stuff? Obviously, all we've been talking about with the features that have been dropped. How do you feel they've been doing as a game studio?
Catering to their community,
Sorry?
or just in general? Like catering to their community, or just in general?
Just making the game a fun environment, a welcoming place for newcomers to jump in.
As far as like welcoming to new players, in my experience, from what I've experienced as a newcomer, and I've not been here that long, I think that like it's not really catered at all to a newcomer, but I think that's also understandable. Like, should they be promoting to new players right now? It's
I mean, they
questionable.
do. They all of their ads are very focused on come play, try it out. I saw them put a Star Citizen, not a Squadron 42, a Star Citizen ad, play.sc, on the back of a bus driving around the UK.
Oh, that tweet. I saw you tweet that. Yeah. That
Yeah.
that that doesn't make sense to me. Like that, like who's gonna go home and search Star Citizen because they saw it on the back of a bus? It's kind of
Oh my God. Or imagine they don't
what?
even wait to get home. You're just like in the middle of your commute. You open this up on your phone. You're like, what? What?
Yeah, maybe it was some sort of celebration. Maybe they did it for other reasons. Like I feel like I just don't see any way that somebody in the office in the marketing team was like, we're gonna put this on a bus and it's gonna get us new players. Like there has to be another reason.
Yeah.
There has to be.
I think
Um,
there's some sneaky business stuff going on there.
yeah, I don't think they I don't think it's very catered right now and where it's at to new players. I don't think it should be expected to. I think we're very far away from it being, hey, new players come play this game. I mean, we're not even in beta or in alpha. Like that's a long ways away. Um, and I feel, and there's just so much progress and stuff that still needs to be done, and it's also going to create a lot of problems. So yeah, I don't think it should be marketed to new players. So I think rightfully so, it's not granted, or they might be marketing it to new players, but I think rightfully so, it shouldn't be developed in a way that it is, at least. As a company, I try to stay out of a lot of stuff because I, on a base level, play a game that I enjoy. I come in, I enjoy it. When it's giving me like big problems to like, I can't even get into a server, for example, like, okay, I'll close it down, go do something, and I always come back to it. And I'm having fun on my personal level. It's like what they do as a company, I stay out of, I try to stay out of. There's some ups and there's downs. I think that the community is very vocal as well. They have a very vocal community, and everyone has a different opinion on it, right? So it's always like one side this, one side that, and it's just like, well, what do I get out of it by engaging in that all the time? I don't really. It doesn't help me in any way. It doesn't benefit me in any way. I have a game, I like it. That's my opinion. I enjoy it, and I like my mental health being in a good spot. So I try to stay away from all that. I
Mental
do.
health is good. Take care of your mental health, kids.
Like I couldn't even tell you what's coming up in the next update. I am very, very not involved on the dev side of things for the most part at the moment.
Actually, some pretty interesting stuff coming too. In terms of the new player experience, I want to stick to that. I want to talk more about that. There are so many things to do in this game. Do you feel like you still haven't gotten to try anything, or do you think you've been through all of them?
No, I feel like there's so much I haven't done because I haven't really done much. I have hauled stuff. I have done exec hangers. I have mined and crafted. I mean, I've gotten a lot of. By the way, I've gotten so much content out of that. Like, not even just not on a video standpoint, on just like a player standpoint, a gamer standpoint. I've had so much experience off of like what I believe is such a little amount of the game. Like, there's a lot of missions that I still want to do. The Valacar. Is that what
You
it's
haven't done
called?
Stormbreaker.
I haven't done Stormbreaker.
Okay.
There's so many things. I haven't done the investigation missions.
In Onyx?
Yeah, like I've gone into Onyx, but I haven't actually gone through with the missions
Oh,
yet. There is so many things. I'm telling you, there is so many things that I
yeah.
have not done and I've not experienced, and it feels like I have gotten so much experience, but in the back of my head, I know like I've only just begun. Like, and I
So
think,
that's because you've been
sorry, yeah,
spending most of your time in the sandbox, right? Doing stuff that you're setting goals out for yourself.
sort of. I think that all kind of involves like, uh, I think well the executive hangers. I think that's a thing in the game that I did.
Okay.
I would say,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I guess I sandboxed it like the last bit of what I did, but at the same time, like mining, right? Like I had to go mine and I had to learn that and stuff. But yeah, I guess on the mission standpoint, on the missions you can get, well, I had to do Hathor too, but you'd already taken me to Hathor, but I did have to like go do Hathor and stuff. And it's always better the second or third time around because you start to things start to click,
Yeah,
So doing Hathor a couple
feel a
times
little
is a
comfortable.
lot of yeah. You kind of just don't feel as lost. Um, but yeah, I feel like there's just so many things. I don't. Maybe it's just because I did do more sandbox type of stuff, or I just feel like I
Well,
spend a lot of time on what I'm trying to do.
well, I say that because like you've had 3 months in the game, and you have managed to get what sounds like dozens, if not possibly over like 100 hours worth of content and entertainment out of Star Citizen. The biggest thing is that a lot of people think when you get into this game, you're playing an unpaid job. And honestly, there are plenty of things I think they need to do to streamline the process so that you're spending a lot of your time playing as opposed to preparing to play. But you've gotten a lot of time out of the game, and yet there is still a lot to do. Does it feel like there's I think when most people think of the new player experience for Star Citizen, they think you get in, you do like 3 to 5 weeks, you've seen most of the content, you've seen the new stuff, you get out. But from what you're saying, it does sound like somebody who hasn't played Star Citizen before, or he hasn't played in a few years, is going to have months worth of things to do.
I think it's all perspective, and how you come into the game. Like if I had I known people in the game and had I not like been trying to achieve things, I could come in and be like, "Hey, friend, can you and your friends show me everything?" And they could like bring me to Hathor, and then the next day they could bring me to do exec hangers, and then the next day they could bring me to Stormbreaker, and then they could do the investigate. Like they could fast track it for sure.
Yeah.
You could, if you wanted to go in there and just experience things as a new player, that'd be pretty hard. Like I feel like there's a huge learning curve. Like from the beginning, it's really bad, and then as you keep going, like you'll I'm still learning things. I'm still learning so many things, and there's so many things I still don't understand. Like I'll be dogfighting. People will be like, "Switch this on," because that's why it's not working. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Switch what on?" Like, you know what I mean? I'm always so lost in our little group dogfights, and that's because I just I don't do it enough, right? Like
Yeah.
if I spend more time doing it and try to engage in it more, like I'd figure it out. And there's a huge learning curve. So for a new player, like without people by your side, especially, yeah, there's going to be like tons and tons of stuff. If you came in here with a group of people that was just ready to show you everything, I think you could fast track it in probably 5 weeks for sure. I think you could, but at that point, are you just doing it to do it? Like I don't know. I have a different. I come in to play the game. Like I want to achieve something, so I spend a lot of time doing and delving into everything. It's like I could go play very different game, obviously, but I could go play Red Dead and I could beeline the story missions, or I could go out into the universe and figure things out, and I could go do the little side things, and I could go unlock collectibles, and stuff like that. So I think it just depends how you want to play the game.
That's fair. You had a really, in that case, you had a really nice progression, I think. Just, I guess being able to be entertained by different loops and having the patience to throw yourself into one and like really learn it for a few weeks is the way to go. Cause it sounds like you got a good amount of like just entertainment out of taking it a little slower.
I agree. I agree for sure. I agree. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm in a bit of a different state than most people too, though, because I'm always trying to achieve something for the sake of like a video, right? Like it's almost like it has almost become like a little job, and instead of like I go in and I'm trying to do something for the purpose of creating. So even if I'm mining for 2 weeks and I'm like, God, I can't mine anymore. It's like, well, if you don't mine anymore, what are you gonna? You're not gonna upload this video. So
No,
just do it, dude. Just do it.
the algorithm
And
demands it.
granted, like that, having the discipline to just be like, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to set out to do something, and whatever obstacle comes in my way, I'm going to figure it out. I think that is a great way to get involved in more gameplay and a great way to learn things in the game, because I feel like I've drastically learned stuff just over the last a little thing that I did, you know. So
Um, so sorry, lost my train of thought there. So it's been a few months and the gameplay has done pretty well for you and gotten you pretty interested. Would you encourage other people who are kind of on the fence about the game to try it out?
I think if you're on the fence, I think if it's something that you know you've already kind of looked into and you're kind of interested in, I think why not? Like, there's no harm in the fact that you can refund it. What, within a month? I think it is.
Yeah,
You can refund it. Yeah, so you can refund it in a month. They also have free flies, so just give. Probably not the best time to try it, but give it a shot on a free fly if you feel like it. I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, it's more of like their computer has an issue running it, whether it be their CPU or GPU or
yeah,
whatever it is. I think that's a huge issue. So a lot of people don't even know if they can run it. But I don't see the harm in giving it a try. If it's something that genuinely you think could be interested in, absolutely give it a try, and you can always refund it.
that's fair. What would be your pitch on getting somebody to actually try it?
Uh, yeah, my pitch would just go watch my videos. No, no.
I've already made
Um,
the pitch, bro.
yeah, I've already made the pitch. Yeah, my pitch would just be like, there's so much that you can do more than you probably think you can do. You could just go live out. If you want to live a sci-fi life, whether that be hauling, little truck simulator in space, or you want to go delve into some PvP, or you just want to go off and open up a business in a game in space and fly around and get cool spaceships and have no real limitations other than the odd crash here and there. You might get a 30K or
The
fall
odd
through the
crash.
map sometimes. Who knows? But other than some odd limitations here and there, it there's so much that you can do, and I think there's so much for everybody in this game. Whether you enjoy PvP, whether you want to be alone, whether you want to be with other people, I think there's just so much that you can do, and especially if you like space, I think this is probably the best space game out there. And even if you just like looking at pretty sunsets, tons of those, tons of those. So you
Dude,
can't go wrong with Star Citizen.
tons of those. I remember when planets first came into the game in 2018. We got Hurston first, which is the closest to the star. So all of the sunsets from Hurston, just like, especially if you lower your field of view, the sun looks massive. And so for like 3 years, I'm not even kidding, for like 3 years, you would just see pictures of sunsets everywhere. Every couple of patches, there'd be a new planet dropped in. Now we're getting ArcCorp sunsets. Okay, now we're getting our Microtech sunsets. Ooh, now it's time for Crusader sunsets. Those were, oh man, the good days.
Yeah, it's great. Well, they're coming out with that new Planet Tech. Is that what it is?
Yep.
When do we have an idea of when that is supposed to be a thing?
No, but it's gonna be this year, I think. I'm betting it's maybe September, likely November.
Because that looks really cool, and I think even just like having the planets look better is going to make the suns just look incredible, incredible. I saw like the nicest sunset ever on. I think it was Bloom, or no, maybe it was a Pharaoh. I think it was on Pharaoh,
Okay.
and it could have been Ignis. It's Pharaoh or Ignis, and such a beautiful sunset. I was like, I thought like I saw some nice views in the game, but I was like, holy crap, that
Yeah.
is insane, like insane.
It's
I don't even
yeah,
think I've
it's
seen that in real
impressive.
life.
Pyro 4 has some really nice sunsets. It was even better when it had its rings. They took the rings out when it got brought into the game, but Pyro 4 was the only place in the whole game where you could see planetary rings and clouds at the same time. And then just to throw some extra benefit on top of that, extra cherry on top was the foliage and like the lakes and the water you'd see on the ground. So you could get just like a whole ecosystem plus the sun would be in the sky. You could see Pyro 5 in the sky with all of its moons and then the rings and the clouds. Crazy. Crazy. It's a
Do you know
beautiful game.
why they removed the rings?
I heard it was performance stuff. I do not know. I could see it being like they couldn't get planetary rings working with their new asteroid builder, so they just were like, we don't want to fix the asteroid builder, just remove the ring and they'll come back to it someday.
I think one of the things that could really make the planets just feel so much more lively is just like even basic animals. I mean, it'd be cool to have some alien animals, but even just more basic livelihood around there of just like, I mean, how cool would it be if you're just walking down Bloom and an elephant walks by? Like, come on, being crazy.
I would love to see what the new age elephants look like. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
there's a lot of fauna that they've worked on but haven't put into the game. Even to the point where they've been like, yeah, it's almost coming into the game in a monthly report and it doesn't make it. So I think there's stuff coming soon, but I totally agree. More life in this game would be great.
yeah. I think that's one thing that it doesn't fail to do is make you feel like there's definitely other people around. Like even if you don't really see many people, like it always kind of feels if you go to like a big kind of planetary POI, like there's everything just feels so alive. I feel like you go to a cool space station, it kind of feels like alive. Everything feel they do a really good job with their atmosphere in stations and just like in indoor places for sure.
Hmm.
I think the atmosphere just feels like alive. Like you can go into a bar and it feels like you got the neon lights, you got like you can hear the sound effects of it, you can hear people like chattering, like there's people around. So I think they do a really good job at that. And it always kind of feels like there are people around. And I think the planets could really use some of that for sure.
They could, honestly. The AI overall, I would personally love for them to be a little bit more presence. It has been nice hearing wild lines now from NPCs, but now that that's been in for like, I don't know, maybe a year, I would like to start hearing them make more sense or be less of the same conversations over and over.
You know what's really crazy is I think it was I want to say it was Area 18, right like the day or two after the Super Bowl. There were NPCs talking about a Super Bowl.
What?
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I don't remember exactly what they said. I wish I clipped it. Yeah, but they were just like directly. I looked. I was like, "What the hell? Like,
You
there's
guys don't
no
have a
way."
Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was crazy. It
That's
actually
pretty
happened
nuts.
though. It's not a lie. I promise.
Uh, how do you feel about exploration in this game? I think a lot of people will come to a space game wanting exploration and expecting a certain flavor of it. What do you think of, and I know a lot of people are typing in chat right now, y'all here at the hour 12-minute mark, what exploration, Space Tomato? But how do you feel about the ability to just fly around and see stuff?
I wish there was more exploration. Granted, your scavenger hunt um, showed me that there is a lot to look at. There's a lot there to go and explore. I mean, I don't know how much of like that was of the entire. I don't know if there is more things other than kind of what we looked at then, but um, at least from what I saw there, there's a lot of stuff to go look at and look into. But there's no way to figure that out without kind of looking it up. You know,
Yeah.
like there is nothing that kind of leads you on a journey to find this. How it would be really cool if you could find notes and collect these notes or like these audio tapes or whatever that if you just followed along with them and took kind of their clues, kind of like the scavenger hunt, they led you to nothing other than this great scenery, like or
Yeah.
this great rune, or just something like that. Or even they brought you to like maybe even a spot where you can do a little mission and unlock some cool torso. I don't know. You know, like just I just feel like that would be really cool. I don't know if they ever plan on doing any of that, but I think that exploration could definitely be more involved in the game.
Yeah. Even like you're just talking about these NPCs with their lines, being able to overhear an NPC say something and then like a little codex thing pops up and you go and look at it and it tells you, oh yeah, there's a rumored pirate stash out on this asteroid or something like that. Like that kind of stuff is great.
That would be awesome. Does it do that?
No.
See, that would be incredible. That would be so cool. Like you hear it and you're just like, oh, now I have a reason to even pay attention to what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
and you go figure it out. I think that's really cool.
I
I
think
think
that's
it's
in
so ambitious
Squadron.
too.
So I imagine it'll be in Star Citizen, but I have no idea to what extent.
Yeah, that's fair.
What is something that only really landed with you recently? Like it took you months to realize about Star Citizen, the community, the act of just being involved, for better or for worse.
I think I was trying to think about this, and I don't really know what has just kind of landed. I think everything's kind of been a very slow progression for me on like figuring things out and how the community kind of works as well. Is like it's been such a slow build up for me, maybe because I've taken so much time on like little aspects and kind of playing with the same group, here and there, or whatever, and diving into everything a lot slower. So I don't really, I still don't really, can't really figure out what specifically kind of landed. So I don't, the sh- the thing that on the development side that landed is like how much they really do push out the ships kind of landed. Because recently I've seen a lot of ships just kind of like be pushed out, which is like almost how does anyone keep up with this? Like how I see a few posts here and there, or like somebody will message me, you see this new ship, and I'm just like, there was one yesterday. What do you mean?
Yeah, May and
Yeah,
November are pretty crazy for new ships.
yeah, wild, absolutely wild. So,
They do push
but
out a
other than
lot of
that,
ships.
I don't. Yeah,
That
other than that, I don't really know what
okay.
would strong land on me.
I would I think the ships is probably a pretty solid one because that is the kind of thing that I could see it going in both ways for somebody who's new to the project. First of all, you hear that they sell these ships, so you think that there's a bunch of ships that nobody can fly, but people are buying. And then in the other direction, you just can't imagine you guys are releasing 6 ships in like 2 weeks. What like it's
Yeah, well, like
yeah,
I
it's a lot.
played and what they released like since my time coming in up to like releasing all these ships, they released like the Hull B, which I thought was a really nice looking ship, by the way. Sig, please. Anyway, um, yeah, I thought it was a really nice ship. There wasn't many ships leading up to like this huge, the big event where they like started dropping all these ships, and that I saw at least. And then all of a sudden, I open up an app and I just see ship after ship after ship, and I'm like, this is common. Like, I don't know if this is common or not, but like,
It is like that. So generally, they've gotten to this point probably starting last year where they're trying to release at least one new ship every month. Generally, it's two. Um, and their two big moments of the year are November, which is Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. That's that's even bigger moment because all of the ships are up for sale. It's everything. At least at some point. And then there's Invictus Week, which this year they call Drake Defense Con in May. So those two times are when they release a lot of ships. That's why you saw so many in like that 2 week period. Other than that, it's generally one or two a month. And they've been using the basically whenever they build one of the old concept ships that's still a picture and they haven't actually gotten to the game, they've been using that as a chance to create another ship based off of the chassis. So like the Raylan came out and we got the Tylenol thing. Um, the Apollo came out and we got the Hermes. I guess the Ironclad already had the Assault, but like you can see it in a lot of different ships that are coming out, and that allows them to make more ships. So they've kind of been raising their average over the last 2 years, but definitely May and November are when you're going to get those onslaughts like that.
yeah, it was the defense con when they started just coming out of nowhere. Just here's one ship, here's another, here's another. It's crazy. It's crazy to me being new and not like I still don't know. I couldn't name probably majority of the ships that you put in front of me. So not that I haven't seen them, but I couldn't name them. So like to see all these new names come up, I'm just very lost.
I'm interested when your angle or your view rather on the game is like it is an alpha, so you understand it'll have its problems. How do you feel about the ships that release and they have problems?
Yeah, I think when they have problems, and I think people invest so much time and money on these, and I understand that on a larger scale, maybe they need to be tested. Um, but it's like that's kind of what the PTU is for, no? Um, Kind of like just go out there, test it. If it's broken, why are we releasing it? Why are we releasing it if it's broken? But then again, there are people who buy them before they release, right? So it's like, well, we'll release them. Um, if people have already bought them, like broken, but you already bought it, so at least you get to kind of delve into it. So I don't know. It what was it? Was it the moth that was broken when it released? Was it the moth?
Yeah, the
I think I
moth
was
was
scared for the moth when it released. I heard like that's kind of really the only. Oh, I think the what's the big one that just released as
the
well? The really
ironclad.
big. Yeah, I heard that one was broken too.
Yeah.
Um, and so for how quickly do they kind of fix them after they've community kind of goes berserk about it though?
Depends on the problem. I mean, the whole sea is still messed up. Granted, that's partially because of its feature set with docking, but that's been years. So
Yeah,
it,
see that to me is a problem. It's a problem, but I mean at the same, I people are paying people are paying a lot of money for these, um, and also I think like there's like a statistic that like when it comes to in-game transactions, well, I guess you guys would you consider them your whales, the people who spend the most amount of money on your game and buy majority of stuff. It's like, but if you keep screwing them over like that, you're gonna lose the people who probably give you the most amount of money in your year, over
yeah,
your years. So just like your goal should be to keep those people before even considering bringing in new people, because those
yeah,
people are kind of operating this on a financial standpoint to a large extent.
yeah, and you start to get into dangerous territory of getting comfortable burning your old folks because you expect new money to come in. I think everybody could see where that might go.
Yeah, and I think every game has like where like a small chunk of the community actually buys a large chunk of their microtransactions. Like it really is just a small part of the community that is buying a lot of this stuff. Granted, like you have new people that come in and maybe those people get super invested and they become, but you already have a player base that you already have to keep burning bridges. I, it kind of does what it does, right?
Yeah. CIG, from my perspective, has some trouble with goodwill. I feel like they go through a pretty regular cycle of building up goodwill very slowly over time with little hiccups here and there, and then burning it all down in the course of like a couple of weeks. And um, I think that's the kind of cycle that you kind of see. Some of it is also with the ships, like the whole ironclad thing really was, I think, a big 4.8 in general. I think was a pretty big reset in that regard. And you came in kind of towards the beginning of that cycle of them rebuilding that goodwill, because the end of last year was pretty good. And then the new year opened up with, I think it was an update that maybe hurt the game a little bit. I can't remember exactly. I already have the page closed, but they were building up this goodwill over the course of that year. And then the ironclad whole situation happened. And now you can kind of feel we're back at the bottom. They're slowly starting to work their way up again. They brought Benoit on to Star Citizen Live. They've talked about how Squadron 42 is actually releasing at some point soon. They are taking a step back to try and fix stuff for 4.9. So keep that in mind. The cycle has reset, and we'll see how long they go before the next one.
Right. Yeah. It's such a hard, I feel like on a company standpoint, with so many eyes on you and such an ambitious project, it's so hard to find the defining line between like we're a company and we have people that we need to support at the same time, but we also need to keep the food on the table. You know what I mean? And it's just like the company are just human beings with the company who are like, we need to make sure that our family's fed before we can make sure that everyone else is fed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you can't feed everybody if you aren't fed. But it also comes down to where do you manage your resources, I think. So I don't know. It's a tough spot. I'm not in their position, and I will say that I do not envy being in that position.
Neither do I, dude. Holy
So
crap. I personally feel like they've bitten off more than they can chew, and that they cannot complete the things that they've set out to complete, and that they do have to do that hard balancing act that you're talking about. They gotta, yeah, we can see them making a ton of money, but clearly they're also needing to spend a lot of money. And once
yeah,
Squadron 42
100%.
comes out, they're going to need to spend a lot less of that money. So what happens to the company throughout this next year? What happens to the way that they're developing the PU? It's A lot of questions surrounding that.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely would not want to be the one making these big decisions with so many eyes on it, you know, and not
Or
really knowing if you're making like how do you even on that side of things like how do you even know if you're making the right decision or not? I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
there's no example in this regard.
No,
It's 14
no.
years of expectations on this thing.
Yeah, so I think they're in a hard place. I'm not defending anything. I think there's issues that probably need to be solved. I think. But I think that's not as easy as a position as a lot of people probably presume it is either.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned the scavenger hunt earlier. What'd you think of that?
That was a blast. That was a blast. I think I out of all the events I've been to, because I haven't been to many events, I've done like org events with some orgs, and then I tried joining one where we had to hunt down Mr. O. Ended in about 5 seconds.
You got him quick.
Yeah, but I think I think the scavenger hunt was a really good experience because it was like it's all friendly competition. It's all like we are here all having fun and we're all trying to like reach an end goal, but it's more like the experience was very social. It's very social. It was very like you get to play with people, figure out things with people, and like yeah, as a group collectively, like you're trying not to come in last, but also like it doesn't matter if you come in last.
Yeah,
Like, the
yeah.
only thing that mattered was that we beat Primo, and we did that. So-
Oh man,
Uh,
team dumbass really held it down.
yeah, that was no, I thought it was really fun. I thought the build up to it was really fun too. Being Prevo and I were had our little back and forth on Twitter, like you're going down and stuff. I thought the build up was really fun. And it's just like a very friendly, competitive, like not like strong competitive, and it's not like any PvP related thing, or it's not like or we have 100 people trying to take us down or shoot at us or whatever. And there's zero frustration in what we're doing. It's just like go out there, have a good time, and it felt like I guess my analogy would be it's like a feel good movie versus an action movie. It's a feel good event. It felt good.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
yeah. Like these kind of social, more just like party focused events. As much fun as Star Citizen is, and it's got its impressive gameplay. Those feel like the best events because it's just like you said. You just want to not be angry at the game.
Yeah, and it's just so innocent too. It's like playing like one of those indie party games with your friends, like just your friends. You know, you're all there to laugh and have a good time. You know, it's that's all it is. And
Yeah,
no, that was really good. And I also really appreciate you guys putting in a lot of work because I know with Star Citizen that was not that was not easy,
yeah,
dude. So
man.
I
The
appreciate you
team,
guys a lot.
the team at GII did incredible. Getting all that situated, the different stations, the places to go. They came up with the riddles. That was fantastic. No, it was a good time, and I think we definitely want to do more of that kind of stuff coming up. I'll definitely reach out. Thank you for participating, though. I'm glad that it went well.
It was so good. It was so. I think my team really held me though. You know, I would have been behind Primo had they not been there. So thank you guys. But no, it was really good. It was really good.
Got a good team. Got a good team with you. If anybody's interested in that, by the way, we are currently working on a video to cover this with almost every perspective in the race. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a fun highlight of all the crazy stuff that happened during that scavenger hunt. And that'll be up on the Space Tomato Plays channel. So you can check that out. But you, my friend, I want to close up this episode with a little bit more of like the fun angle. We obviously got to do our predictions, folks. You know, I think that's going to be fun considering you don't know what's coming in 4.9. But before we get to you predicting anything, is there anything you do know that's coming up that has you really excited? Maybe a new topic that you want to do for a video or something?
I know Galley's holding an event. Do you know? You probably know of it. Do you know if it's public?
I do not. I know that
And
we just had an event with Mr. O the other day, but that might not be what you're talking about.
Okay. I feel like he's tweeted about it, but I won't just in case.
Outed.
There's some cool events coming that I think is really cool that I'm excited about, and I'm just excited to honestly just play with more people, especially like Galley's org is really cool to play with. I think they do some really cool things. So I'm excited to kind of dive more into that stuff. I've been off of Star Citizen for about like a week now, and I've kind of been on and off the week before trying to get something out, but it hasn't worked in my favor at the moment.
It
So
really does.
um, so it's a work in progress. But there's a lot of things I am excited to just go out and try with people. So
Cool. Yeah, so it definitely sounds like you are more along the lines of like, I want to play the game that's here. I want to enjoy the stuff that's going on. You're not really too focused on the roadmap or what's happening or what's coming up.
yeah, like I'm interested in when it progresses, obviously, just like anybody else. But yeah, I think what's here is like I'm enjoying. So I'm pretty focused on that.
All right. Well, last time you were here to talk to us, your prediction, so to say, it was about player trading becoming easier in the game by June. How do you feel? Do you feel like there's have been any sort of movement there?
No, not really. But I did watch one of their live streams probably over a month ago now, 2 months ago now, um, where they did talk about having player traded markets or something like that for people. Did they discuss? I think they discussed that in one of their live streams. You would probably know better than me, but I
Player
thought they
traded what?
mentioned
Markets?
like just having player traded places for player trading or
We've certainly talked about it.
yeah, and I thought they brought that up in a fairly recent stream.
I don't remember recently, but it's definitely like it's something that they've talked about in the past, and it's something we desperately need. You think that that might be something that they're working towards soon?
I hope so. I hope so.
All
I
right, back
definitely
to the
hope.
player trading then. I'm gonna
It's gonna wait.
clearly
What should we
Acuze
say this
really
time?
wants that player market to come
I
into the game.
think it would be amazing. Oh, VoIP's kind of been working now. I think I predict that VoIP will be a little more stable
Okay.
throughout the next few months for sure.
All right. I got you down. We'll check back in with you probably sometime in the fall to see if I hope those things come true. I'm
Me
right
too.
there with you. I'm praying that you got it.
Me too. Oh,
um
please.
Thank you again for joining me for this one, dude. I appreciate it. It's always a good time. Thanks for coming out to that scavenger hunt, playing with the org, and just making some good content for the community and people beyond, showing folks what you can actually do in Star Citizen. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thanks for talking, and thanks for bringing me out to Hathor.
Of course. It was. I was. I still remember you had to like save me as I collapsed from heat and fell under the vehicle. It was like your.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious.
That was like your first like few weeks in the game. I think just the most ridiculous stuff happening. No, but thank you for joining for all that stuff. You want to let folks know where they can find your content?
At Acuze on YouTube is most of my content. If you want to kind of keep up to date with some stuff I do, I think it's at Acuze TV on Twitter, X. Um, yeah.
Awesome, man. Fun to follow your tweets on. I see you go back and forth with Cal every once in a while. I try not to
Yeah.
melt my brain too much by staying on there for too long, but it's fun to check in on the SC community there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. Thank you so much for watching this. Wait, you didn't watch. You were part of it. Thank you so much for being in this episode. All of you back home, in the car, at work, wherever you might be commuting, lying down, hanging out with the baby. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you guys. As we get closer to my own baby coming, the episodes will probably have some weird timing, but you'll hear more about that over the next couple of months. I appreciate you all for listening to the Launch Sequence podcast. If you enjoy Star Citizen or enjoy podcasts, consider leaving a review, maybe a little rating on Spotify. And if you wanted to share more of the good fun and you have some friends who like Star Citizen or even other space games, we do have to cover other space games too. Consider sharing this with your friends. Give them a chance to listen in. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next week.